This episode 70 of Tommy Hazel Jack Jr.'s story is My Mother versus the Devil. Hello, my name is Tommy, and today my mother, Mia, sells lemonade to everyone and open up to the lemonade stand because people giving her more money says she has to buy more stuff, like the new pink dress. After my mom sells lemonades to everyone, the man named Oliver, also known as Mr. Redface, say hi to my mother and give it a deal to my mom. He tell my mom he likes her lemonade so much and he wants her to part with the deal. But my mom is not sure about this and she's suspicious about it. It's so suspicious because he had horns on his head. So my mom make a deal for Oliver and she shook his hand. And Oliver is turning into a devil because he's half human, half demon. And he said to my mom, and he says, "You will now join the hell cemetery the rest of your life." When he turned back to the human, he is say sorry to my mom anyways. Says he made evil deals with my mom because he wanted to name my mom evil to become his queen and take over the world, but she don't. Then she was took her soul and put it in the jar, even though Oliver has a pet ghost named Jerry who is in the jar. But my mom refused him and she said no to him, and Oliver was dragged back to hell what he belonged, says he was born hell. And after my mom sells lemonades to everyone, she was at the bakery. She meet the chef named Chef Harold, and Chef Harold teach my mom how to cook a pie. After he teach her to bake pie, she was cooked the pie very good. And she gives Chef Harold's family, such as Chef Harold's wife Amanda, Chef Harold's children, Akuli Ralph, Stella, Abby, and the youngest baby girl is Annie. And she meets Chef Harold's dog, Nova, so she was petting Nova. So meanwhile, the guy named Robert, who is an unlucky person, tell my mom how to cookie skills and how she was cooking enough. Even though she was trying the best to her cooking. Says she was cooking too hard by cooking meals for her family and trying to do her cooking skills. And the next day, two house inspectors named Zach and Brian came to the house, and Zach says, "You may have a great health inspector for our animals, and you must give it a cow because her cow is roast stuck in the roof." And there's a cow came out of nowhere, and it is Zach's pet because Zach loves his cow. And Zach has 20 overs of pigs in our house because Zach is a farmer. After she take care of all Zach's animals, Zach and Brian get money, and Zach got a pumpkin. And that was weird because my mom always sells lemonades for dollars, and she only has the money. So I decided to create a pumpkin that looks like my neighbor Hazel. But I made a pretty face and put it up a googly eyes and a wig and put a bow on it and put it on the stick figure hands into pumpkin and put a small bicycle wheels onto the pumpkin. And I showed this to my friends Jojo Robinson, Zach Anderson, and Hera McCarson all to see to my pumpkin when I made. Then my bully George just bring the pumpkin back to life by using the potion. When he had got the potion for the witch, says George wants his Venus flytrap back to life because his Venus flytrap was dead. So the witch named Noella gave him a potion, so the potion brings objects back to life, especially plants. So George put his Venus flytrap back to life, and the Venus flytrap returned bigger. So his mom came over to the door and she says, "George, what the heck you do this to your Venus flytrap?" So back to it, I named this pumpkin Hazel Jr. because I made a pumpkin out of Hazel. So I love this pumpkin. I named this pumpkin as a new friend. And one time my neighbor Hazel shows up and she was mad, upset, and furious about that pumpkin when I made, and she said about that pumpkin and she says, "How is this cheap pumpkin about it? I did not look like that. I look so dumb. That's it, I will kick this pumpkin." So my neighbor Hazel is not happy about this pumpkin show, and she kicked Hazel Jr. and Hazel Jr. was hit by a car and is smashed by a car while driving, and boom, the pumpkin is dead. My neighbor Hazel just murdered my pumpkin. And the next day, Hazel Jr. the pumpkin dies because I was sad, and me and my friends just buried Hazel Jr. alive and doing in a funeral. But my bully George just brought my pumpkin back to life, and I was so happy because my pumpkin Hazel Jr. is just back to life. And I said, "Oh, Hazel Jr., you're back to life. I finally found you. I miss you." Meanwhile, my mom just asked Robert about a cooking special, doing her cooking special. She said her cooking skills are about her all her entire life. But Robert thinks it's kind of okay about your cooking skills, and everything that never happens. So my mother didn't like Robert's efforts. So my mom was sent to the cooking skills school alongside with my uncle Billy Joe, which is my mom's brother, and so other people. And I don't know why my mom confused on why my uncle Billy Joe was here and why she at a cooking skills school. So this lady named Janice, and she says, if you're watching this, your kitchen has been fenced, but not with rats and roaches. But you're fine. But a talk of unionizing of love. Then Janice went to the chef named Chef John, or his nickname Chef, and Chef says, wait, unsewing? What an unsewing? What's that? Sounds scary and terrifying. Janice says, it is, Chef. Joining union was concerning and would add another person in your kitchen, and it was a union ogre. So the large ogre popped out of nowhere, and the green large ogre is named Sack anyway, and also known as a union ogre. And the ogre says, I clearly need a seriously about your management and world domination about it, and I took your money out of your pocket. After he's eaten the money out of Chef's pocket, this ogre was a bully, because he took money out of their pockets and eat them. And Chef says, hey, I didn't get a neck tattoo about it. So Chef gets angry and holds his frying pan, and he gotta hit the ogre, and Chef says, you know what, I tired with this ogre. Let's hit this monster with his frying pan before he can destroy us. So Chef hit the ogre in the head with the frying pan. And I don't know why my mom was also confused, because there is no cookie skills about it. So she said to Janice, and she said, you must do something else. So after my mom teaching Janice how to do cookie skills, my mom brought the new pink dress from the mall, and she is showing her friend Jessica, and Jessica liked it. So Jessica wearing her blue dress, and while my mom wearing her new dress, she's joining her friends at a party, which is a group of businesswomen that her friends called Diana Bluey, Peppermint Wan, Hannah Chan, Leslie Kruger, and Angela Strawberry. Our friends are Mia, and they're the delicious meal that Hannah was made. One of the friends, Leslie Kruger, wants my mom to see the different group, the Superman Gang, which they're a group of 7 men. Pet owners gang with people having pets such as cat and dogs or others. In relationship gang with people having relationship with other people. The brown hair teachers gang with teachers have brown hair and wear glasses. And co-worker gang, which the group of people and Leslie was made. But my mom says she only do cooking skills, and that's what it is. But Leslie Kruger doesn't understand about cooking skills. How? So she got home, the devil named Alan just popped up out of nowhere and wants to go with her because today is Alan's birthday. So he gave her the paper to let my mom to sign the birthday paper. Then she go into his house. Alan brought his friends named Linker and Pock, and they're devils just like Alan. So after my mom say happy birthday to Alan, he wants his friends with her. So Alan's 2 demon friends call a wonderful and beautiful woman, and they just do this to my mom. Especially Alan wants to marry to my mom because he had a ring on it, and he started marriage to my mom, including an evil priest named Jackson. And I think Alex just kidnapped my mom because he was his birthday. He wants to marry with her. And that made her uncomfortable because she's only married to my dad, which is Jack. And she needs help. And I tell Daddy, and I said, Mommy's got kidnapped by a demon. Do something. And my dad was shocked. He had to say Mommy before it's too late. And my dad get the guardian angel named David to get help to stop the demon to marry to my mom. So my dad, David, and me stopped the wedding for Alan to marry to my mom. And my dad said, hey, you, back away from my wife. And my mom is so happy to my dad. So David's fight with Alan, while my dad, Jack, was defeat all the Alan's friends. After David defeat his rival, Alan, after my dad defeat Alan's friends, my mom was saved by my dad. And after my parents got home, my mom's friend, Jessica, and her husband, Dan, was invited to our house. And Jessica and Dan have children, such as Thomas, Dan Jr., and Tammy. Then my mom just started talking to her friend, Leslie Kruger. But she doesn't know why my mom got the suit from. So my mom gave her a coffee cup, and she gave the coffee cup to Leslie Kruger's brother, Gordon Kruger. And that's why my mom sells lemonade. The end. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching these videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So bye! Destiny Booker Studios.
Wow!
Hello!